All right, guys, I'm Robert. I'd like to welcome you back to the channel, and more importantly, welcome you down here to Apex. Today we've had actually a great day running taxis, rental cars, etc. Weather wasn't so optimal, but we still had a lot of fun anyways. The topic for today is interesting, and I'm not too controversial, but it is a controversial topic. It stems out of the BMW video that Misha and I did just recently, where we spoke about the new M3 and questioned the grille. And really, one thing I'd like to explain is that I was more questioning BMW management and why they proceeded with something that so many people asked not to happen. I don't care if you like or dislike the actual design, because design and taste are subjective to really what you like and what you want out of the car. But what I was more going after was the management style, the concept of actually producing something that thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people said, please don't do this. And that's really kind of something that surprised me, that a company would go ahead and move forward with that. And there was tons of great feedback from people saying I don't like it, some people saying I do like it. But the ones that got me, this was actually a really funny one, was one of the guys said, well, who the hell are you two to sit here and talk about it? You're not even in front of the car. BMW doesn't even invite you to look at the car being presented. Well, that's very true. BMW didn't invite us to present the car. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think that I will ever get an invitation from a company to present one of their new cars, or to look at one of their new cars, or video one of their new cars when they come out. And there's a very fine reason for that. I will make a video that says, why did BMW do this? Is this a flop? I will make a video with myself or with Misha telling you what I don't like about the Pista, and how Ferrari should be embarrassed sending a car out with 0.9 degrees of camber in the front axle that understeers like it's driving on butter, okay? I will tell you guys those things because that's truly how I feel about the cars and my honest opinion about them. And if McLaren or Ferrari or BMW or Mercedes invite me to look at one of their cars and it has a characteristic that I think is absolutely ridiculous, and I tell you guys about it, they probably won't invite me back. They probably also have marketing teams that go in, and if I were to message them and say, I'd really love to come and see your new car and talk about it, and they see that I did say something negative about maybe the Pista, or I did say something negative about a 720 at one point, or I mentioned McLaren needs to get their reliability together, and they also need to go and look at their marketing program and their business model and stop shoving cars down dealers' throats, they might say, oh, wait a minute, you know what? We don't actually want this person representing us, because they might say something about our car that we don't like. So don't ever expect that I will get major invites. I have been invited by manufacturers later after the fact to go drive some cars and do things like that, but it was never a presentation of a new car. We went to the Top Gear track, I believe it's called Dunsfold, and we drove the 600 LT there and had an absolute blast with it. Tom might pop in a couple pictures on track. And one thing I can tell you is that when we went out and did that, we had a lot of fun, and we weren't easy on the car. And I can tell you that the way that I would drive the cars in a situation like that is far harder than any videos that I've seen recently, maybe of the 765 LT being released and things like that. So I would probably put the car more through its paces, but I would also be giving input as to my taste of the car and what I like about it. I did a video yesterday with Misha where we spoke about the 765 LT. I have my concerns about the car. I have my concerns that the interior may not be as advanced as I'd like it to be for a new lightweight car. It may not feel as aggressive of a step forward for this lightweight track car. I feel like the entire segment of lightweight supercars is getting watered down, from Huracan, this, Performante, to 765 LT, 600 LT, now the 765 from the 675. Then we've got the Pista. I could go on and on talking about all these new lightweight track cars, and it seems like every year 2 or 3 are coming out. The next greatest thing that we're seeing around the Nürburgring is the GT3 and the GT3 RS from Porsche that's just about to come out. And it seems like there's always some new lightweight track car. And what's interesting is I don't feel that any one company has brought the entire package together yet and delivered something that I want to see. So I do have my dream car in the back of my mind as to what I would love to see from McLaren, Ferrari, Porsche, whoever wants to build it, but I just haven't seen it yet. So if I went to these presentations, I'd probably tell you exactly what I thought. Why don't I talk a little bit about the whole concept of who does get invited to these things? Now, I'm going to preface this with the fact that I have a lot of friends who might be called influencers, which I think is the most ridiculous name that I've ever could imagine for such I guess, brand, if you would. We went to the Geneva Motor Show several years ago, and it was the first time I saw in the corner, influencer corner. I shit you not, they had the influencer corner. And this is where the influencers had USB plugs that they could charge their iPhones and their Androids and maybe their laptops and their Wi-Fi modules and these things. And I was like, this has got to be the most douchebag thing I've ever seen, is to have an influencer corner. But that's where we're at. What is the name influencer? The name influencer, they're not journalist. A journalist is a name that is intended to tell you something the way that it is, right? I know that in journalism, if you want to talk coronavirus, if you want to talk elections, politics, whatever, journalism always, in most cases, takes a biased role, but it's not supposed to. It's not intended to, and the name journalist doesn't actually state that it should be biased. The name influencer has no option but to be biased. You can't be an influencer and not be trying to sway somebody into doing something. The word influencer means you're influencing somebody to do something. And so we're living in a generation right now where we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on, what's the newest, greatest thing, boys? TikTok. We're doing TikTok dances, okay? And it's operated by influencers, and these influencers are telling us what we like and what we should like about the cars. And these influencers are getting invited by Ferrari, by AMG, by BMW to influence us and say, gosh, this massive ass ugly grill is actually not as bad as I thought it would be in person. You're being influenced, right? Keep that in mind when you're watching these things, and you may not be getting the straight story that we're telling you here on YouTube. Maybe we're only telling you what the brands want you to hear. Maybe we're only telling you what the marketing department of this brand wants you to hear, what makes sense to them to sell more cars, to sell more of these fine watches, these Apex jackets, the most comfortable thing I've ever worn in my life. This is what these brands are doing for their marketing now. They're going away from a TV commercial that is obviously marketed material, that's obviously to get you to buy it. But now influencers are going to car companies to share with you a new model, a new car, and that may not actually be something that's being delivered straight to you one-to-one or as it should be. So keep that in mind when you guys are watching these videos, that somebody might not say, gosh, you know what, that car's not exactly what I would drive. I wouldn't buy it, right? I will tell you flat out if I would buy a car or not, and I'll tell you why. Now, I can also tell you that if I go to drive a new car and I get done driving it and I say, gosh, you know what, I don't think I would buy that car, but this is who it would be perfect for. And I think that we could be objective in that regard, and I would love to see influencers doing things like that. I can tell you that I wouldn't buy another Pista. The Pista for me was not an optimal car for the Nordschleife. However, you take it to a GP track, Spa, you take it to Monza, you take it on the Nürburgring GP track, and it's an amazing, perfect car. It's something that you want to drive around on the street. Get rid of that silly ass 3,000 RPM exhaust flap that opens, right? Lower it a little bit, put a little bit of camber on it, and take it to the GP track and drive it around, and you're going to love it. You're going to absolutely love it, but it's not exactly for me. So no, I won't buy another one. 720S, take it on the Nürburgring. It has lift-off oversteer. The back comes out. But you know what? If you're a drag racer, if you're driving around on the street, you want to do high-speed Autobahn runs and do things like that, best car you could buy. I can't think of a car that's better for all-out performance in that category in a straight line that's just going to blow other things away than a 720S. So we have to get to a point where these marketing teams go and say, you know what, it's okay if you say something bad about this car. It's okay if you tell your honest opinion. Please don't just come here and trash us, but it's all right if you guys do that. And if you go this route, it's respectable. And I think we're going to see much better journalism out of YouTube videos and things like that. Got some WD-40?
So I just stand like this, or?
They all, you watched them all go out of the barn and then in this door. Tim Morley, come here.
Do I have to?
You do. So talk right here, Tim. Wait.
Hi, Robert.
So guys, this is Tim Morley, taxi driver for Apex. He was in the GT2 all day today. We're talking about influencers.
Ooh.
Oh, so check this out. Talking about influencers.
Camera.
Yeah. Slide the price list here, Tom. So this right here is the Apex price list, okay? We actually had somebody walk into Apex one time look at this and said, do you have an influencer price list? Where's the influencer price list? We said, you're looking at it.
That was a nice
Yeah, it was a good
delivery.
slide. If you guys could see that. It was, no, so we're talking about influencing and telling people what they want to hear, you know, and how maybe an influencer might go to, let's put that back on there. An influencer might go to try a new car and tell you guys how great it is, but they were invited by the car company, maybe even paid for by the car company.
Influence themselves
in
order to influence.
Yes. So I said the difference between journalism and influencing is that journalism should be unbiased, even though in a lot of cases it's not.
Yeah.
But Tim so you guys know the 620 is my car. I enjoy taking people as a taxi in it, but Tim took the 620 out for a lap today.
Yeah.
What's your unbiased opinion of the car?
My unbiased opinion is obviously it's not as fast as GT2.
Right.
It's not going to be.
Yep.
But to drive, there's a lot more feedback. It's you feel exactly what's going on, and I'd say it's a more fun experience because at the end of the day, we're not here for lap timing.
Right.
Ultimately.
Yep.
During TF. And I sort of said to you, my hypothesis was, I think to drive it's more fun, but as a passenger, the GT2 is actually a better car, and that I left that experience with the same feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you had a bit of a different opinion.
Well, I think that a lot of customers have gone back to back in the two, and they've said that the sounds that the car makes and the feelings and the vibrations coming through the chassis give them more.
Yeah.
And there's two things to think about, so we can look at objectively, is that we're used to saying as a passenger, we're used to going fast, right? Tim will do a 720 lap and think he's sandbagging. Okay, and somebody else will get in and think, oh my God, I just did a 720. Okay? And a lot of people will put exhaust on their car and think it's faster, but it's probably slower because it's louder.
Yeah, and that's the effect the McLaren's got on the passenger.
And that's what it is. You hear the roof scoop and the pops and bangs at downshifts, and you hear these things, and that makes you feel...
It depends on the customer. End of the day, some people are more in tune to the G-forces and the braking points and all that sort of
and
stuff.
those
More
people,
some people
if somebody's more experienced on the track, they're going to be more impressed by the GT2.
Yeah.
If they're new to the track and they're just thinking, oh man, I want, you know, I guess emotion from a car, then they're going to get it from the McLaren.
Yeah, I'd be interested to try them back to back in the wet as well, because I think the GT2 in the wet is such a unique driving style.
You have to really get your head around it.
Yeah. I think in the wet, the McLaren traditionally hasn't been as good as the Porsche, but maybe it is now.
If you could have, after your lap today, it's not enough time to really know. Reliability aside, because we can look at it now from a non-influencer side, but a journalistic side.
Yeah.
If both cars were equal in reliability, which one would you prefer to have as a driver?
To drive, I'd take the McLaren. And I6And I actually really missed driving the McLarens from last year.
Yeah, he got in, he said, oh my God, it's been 1 year since I've driven a McLaren.
Full year, and it was like, it felt nice to be back in the McLaren. The Porsche's amazing, like it's brutally quick, but it doesn't lack the feedback that you relish as a driver.
It's funny because the Porsche has so much mechanical grip.
Yeah.
The front end just, you know, is light years ahead of the McLaren.
Again, though, it's a different driving style. You drive the car with a slip angle all the time.
All the time.
You have to drive with a slip angle. I think that's why a lot of people aren't comfortable driving that car at speed.
At speed, yeah.
Because you have to drive it with a slip angle. Whereas the McLaren is just like point, dart, rotate, drive. You know, it's very different.
So then let's take it one step further. Knowing that both cars would be equal in reliability, you would take the McLaren.
To drive, yeah.
But knowing that they're not, which one would you take?
The Porsche.
Yeah. So McLaren, get your shit together.
Yeah.
Because if you had a car that was as reliable as the Porsche...
With that said, most people aren't doing 30,000 kilometers a year on the Nordschleife.
No, but I think it comes down in all scalability. It does break down at some point to say, okay, you know what? If I'm going to drive 100,000 on the road or 30,000 on the Nordschleife, there's going to be issues at some point.
Yeah, and no one can wave the finger at Porsche's sort of service, aftercare service.
No, it's awesome.
Especially with Manthey being here.
It's awesome. Yeah, I think it's awesome. So just a different way to look at it from a way that I think I would love to see these influencers presenting stuff is saying, okay, McLaren's building, in my opinion, the better driver's car. Porsche's building the more reliable and at the end of the day, faster car. I think a GT3 RS is faster than this as well.
I'd say so.
But we have this balance where Porsche wins out because of reliability, but McLaren wins out because of driver feedback and engagement.
At the end of the day, you're here on holiday.
Yeah.
The last thing you want to be dealing with is aggro with a car breaking down.
Yep, absolutely. So
yeah.
There you go. Thank you for the cameo appearance. We
I'll
appreciate
get my jacket and bid you farewell.
But yeah, so I think you guys see that there's different ways to look at it. And when we get it painted, when we get the story painted for us by the manufacturer, it's not what we want. It's a big reason why here at Apex we don't do anything with exclusive brand deals. We don't have exclusive tire deliveries. We don't have exclusive brake suppliers. We don't have anything that we work with exclusively, because if somebody says, you know what, Robert, we want to give you these tires and we only want you to run these tires and we want you to only say good things about these tires, then we're not giving you guys the straight scoop. You're not actually going to buy the best tire that you can for your car because you just had some we were influenced to influence you because, wow, you know what? We're running this GT2 RS and we're going through, gosh, maybe every 70 laps a set of tires. And if we're doing thousands of laps a year, we can save a lot of money by getting tires given to us for free. Pete's dying over here. He wants free tires. So the reality is that we don't do these because I don't want to be backed into a corner to tell you how great a Nankang tire is because I have to. I don't want to tell you how I love the McLaren on a Pilot Sport 4S in the wet and even in drying conditions because I have to. I don't want to tell you that I love the Trofeo R on the 620R in the dry because I have to. So we're at a position where we don't actually take these brand deals and these exclusive deals because we want to run what we like. Now, if I find out that a Pagid brake works great on this car and an endless brake works wonderful on that car, and then we want to promote those to you guys, well, then that's because it's truly what we run. And maybe if the brand wants to support us in that regard, then I can get behind it. But we're not in a position that we should be telling you guys, this is what you should run because we got paid to do it, because that is a commercial. That's why in Germany, there's a law that states that if you have a paid partnership, I think it's actually in the UK and different places as well, it actually says paid sponsorship from or paid partnership with, because you guys have to be told that this isn't an independent opinion. This is actually somebody telling you and trying to sell you something. Because this day and age, I get people that come to Apex and say, Robert, it's so great to see you. Oh my gosh. I say, and what's your name, right? Who are you? Oh, how's Max? How's Annalise? How's Tiffany? Yeah, well, what's your name? You know, and so these people are building relationships on the internet and they're building this social following that actually feels like they know them, and they're telling them things based on money that they're getting to tell you. And that relationship that we're developing in the year 2020 through our digital content can influence you to do things that you might find out later. Wow, that was actually crap. Why did I buy that tire? Why did I buy that car? Robert runs McLarens on the Nürburgring and he does 40,000 kilometers a year and they work perfectly. Mine should work perfectly. What's the full story behind it? Are we able to openly say that the GT2 is more reliable than the McLaren, but I enjoy driving the McLaren more? Am I able to say that the GT2 looks absolutely stunning? It's got a great shape. It's faster than the McLaren. It's more reliable than the McLaren, so I'm more comfortable knowing that the Porsche is on the track. I can tell you those things because we're not sponsored by either of those two companies, and we can deliver it to you. So that's probably why you won't see me, Tom, Bora, Misha. Well, maybe Misha. He'll bullshit you. I'm just teasing you guys. Misha's the first person to tell you something's crap. Sometimes like, Misha, tone it down, right? But you won't see us right at the presentation of the next AMG GT Black Series on track, because I'd probably tell you, why in the hell did they build a car that doesn't have adjustable suspension when the GTR Pro did? Guys, hope you enjoyed this video. We'll catch you later.